Hello and welcome to another episode of my Facts and Glitches series, where I continue to showcase more of what I've learned about GTA 5 in my over 15,000 hours of playing the game and from my awesome viewers. GTA 5 was planned to have a bodyweight mechanic similar to GTA San Andreas before it was cut. Evidence of this can be seen when you get a wanted level and you hear the police describe Michael, Franklin or Trevor's body type on the police radio.
White male, mid-30s, brown hair.
If you dig into the game's files, there are actually multiple variants of these police radio descriptions that would have played if your character is over or underweight.
Heavy-set white male, mid-30s, brown hair. Athletic white male, mid-30s, brown hair. Heavy-set white male, late 40s, dark hair. Athletic white male, late 40s, dark hair. Heavy-set black male, early 20s, black hair. Athletic black male, early 20s, black hair.
We can only guess why this feature was removed. In GTA 5, if you shoot a rocket at your feet and then pause the game just before it hits the ground and enter direct mode through the Rockstar editor, you will get a unique alert that reads, "Direct mode is not available while dead." Honestly, this seems discriminatory towards the dead. If you then continue into story mode, you will respawn at the hospital, but with the wasted filter still applied. You can fix this by restarting your game, or simply going back into direct mode and leaving. One feature that used to be in GTA Online that only those who played close to release got to experience was that originally when you requested your vehicle from your garage,
some wheels? I can bring them round.
Your mechanic would actually drive over to you to deliver it himself.
As promised.
This feature was sadly removed February 2014, just 4 months after the game released. The patch notes simply stated, the mechanic has now been removed when delivering a personal vehicle. The vehicle is now created nearby instead. Due to Johnny now being physically removed from the game, players can no longer hear the lines that he used to say when delivering your vehicle.
As promised, here it is. I warmed it up for you. She's purring. She's ticking over for you. Here she is. Scratch was already there, right?
On the mission Did Somebody Say Yoga, Michael gets drugged by Jimmy and imagines himself flying through the city. During this, he seemingly hears echoes of his past, first remembering his conversation with Jimmy on the mission Daddy's Little Girl.
I always thought I was the good guy. It's just...
What?
I always thought I was the good guy.
Before then hearing the voice of Dr. Friedlander.
What do you want, Michael? What do you want, Michael?
However, these lines from Dr. Friedlander do not actually exist in Michael's past, they exist in his future. These lines are said to Michael in the side mission Abandonment Issues, which only becomes available much later in the game, after reuniting the family and the Bureau raid are completed. I am unsure whether this was a mistake or an intentional inclusion by Rockstar. The mission Did Somebody Say Yoga has a gold medal requirement to complete the third yoga pose, Praise the Sun. Anyone who is familiar with FromSoft's Dark Souls franchise will see this as an obvious reference to Solaire and his Praise the Sun pose.
Take in the air and release it.
On the missions Daddy's Little Girl, Did Somebody Say Yoga, and Reuniting the Family, we can see Michael watching an old black and white movie, which helps reinforce his love and obsession with old Vinewood films.
Devin Weston said you were a fan.
Huge fan.
While we are explicitly told nothing about this movie, if you look closely, you can see that it is not only recorded in Rockstar Games' 2011 title LA Noire, but it also features the main character of that game, Cole Phelps, along with a vehicle and a gun from that game. I suspect the game being set in 1947 is the main reason Rockstar chose to record this footage in the game. This is within the time period that the famous Vinewood film producer David Richards, father of Solomon Richards, made movies, as he was active between 1921 and 1978. Upon entering Devin Weston's hangar, a row of clipboards can be seen next to a photo of the Reefer from Grand Theft Auto 4. Above it reads, "I'm on a boat," which is obviously a reference to the song by the same name by the comedy music group called The Lonely Islands. In the missions I Fought the Law and Pac-Man, Devin Weston's assistant Molly Schultz can be seen with her designated driver a total of 3 times, but unfortunately he seems to undergo an identity crisis. We first see him at the start of I Fought the Law standing next to Molly, but later as she's leaving, he looks like a completely different person. Later on during Pac-Man, we catch a glimpse of him waiting inside the car, and we can see that he's reverted back to how he looked when we first saw him.
Are you fucking kidding me?
There is a restaurant called the original Dickies, Bagels and Deli that has 2 locations in Los Santos, one in Morningwood and the other near the Vespucci Canals. The name being a sexual innuendo is made very apparent when you see that cream cheese is all the food they sell. The Digi scanner is one of Grand Theft Auto's strangest items. It first appears in GTA 5 on the mission Far Out, with Omega using it to scan Franklin. It then appears in the mission Chasing the Truth when it is handed to Michael so he can find extraterrestrials around the area. It can also be seen in GTA Online when searching for buried stashes on Cape Rico, but you may notice that this Digi scanner looks a bit different than the one in story mode, as one has an antenna and the other does not. More interesting is that the game's files reveal that the Digi scanner was originally going to be purchasable from Ammunition and have another use. An unused Ammunition description for the Digi scanner reveals that we were going to buy it and use it to scan vehicle number plates. In GTA Online, the Mammoth Streamer 216 is unique in that it is the only vehicle with a livery that references Devin Weston. While it does make sense that Devin Weston would have planes associated with his jet charter business, it is kinda strange that this is the only one. It is further interesting that this was added to the game in 2023, which is 10 years after Devin Weston's death.
Goodbye, my old friend.
If you live in one of these 55 countries and go to the Diamond Casino in GTA Online, the game prohibits you from gambling. When walking up to the wheel or any of the other games, a prompt will appear to tell you this feature is locked and you won't be able to play. This restriction eventually also extended to Australia, making it a total of 56 countries, a surprising 7 years after the content's release. At the end of the mission Did Somebody Say Yoga, we lose $5,000 from our bank account as Jimmy stole it before stealing Michael's car.
Also, I took money from your bank account and I'm moving out. What? You're too crazy, Dad.
Or at least we used to lose $5,000, as for some reason this amount was changed to $3,000 in the enhanced version of the game. Honestly, this seems like a strange thing to change, but I guess thanks Rockstar. You might wonder what happens if you do this mission while you have no money. The answer of course is that nothing changes about the mission, you just don't lose the money afterwards. I guess we can assume that Jimmy just goes to stay somewhere a bit cheaper. There is a carpet store located on the corner of Davis Avenue called Discount Carpet Center. Above it is a sign that should read Deep Pile Nation, but half its letters are removed, so it now reads Depilation. Depilation is the act of removing body hair, and this becomes a sexual innuendo because carpet is slang for pubic hair. So this carpet store is a multi-layered joke from Rockstar to reference the idea of removing pubic hair. The Mammoth Dodo is a seaplane available to purchase from Elitist Travel, however there was actually a land variant of the plane that Rockstar cut from the game. The only evidence left of the plane's existence can be found in the game's files, which is a low-resolution picture of what would be displayed on the plane's purchase page. You could say this plane went the way of the Dodo. Our GTA Online characters technically have a voice. We can hear it in one specific instance if we enter direct mode with our character, and this instance is when we're falling. This is the only scenario where our character will make a sound. Other reaction options that involve speaking will not work, and so will usually result in our character shaking their head instead. Surprisingly, the dump truck and the dock handler share the exact same entrance animation. This explains why when the player enters the dock handler, they don't use the ladder to get in. They instead jump over it because that's what you do with the dump truck. In GTA Online, completing Tier 4 of the career progress for the Cluckin Bell farm raid gives you this Cluckin Bell outfit. After you obtain it, if you go back and do the setup mission Disorganized Crime, Vincent will comment on your appearance.
Did you dress up for the occasion? That's some commitment.
It's honestly pretty cool that they go to this kind of effort, considering that so few people are likely to naturally experience this. Grand Theft Auto 5's clothing stores have movie references. For example, with Trevor in the very back left clothing rack of any discount store, you can purchase the overlooked red blouson, which is the same outfit that Jack Torrance wears in the movie The Shining. You can also buy the Champagne Driver blouson, which mimics the jacket worn by Ryan Gosling in the movie Drive, although the back of the jacket has a crab instead of a scorpion. In the mission Nervous Ron, bikers come and destroy Trevor's trailer. A part of this is that they destroy the beer that was on Trevor's table that we as players could make him drink from prior to the mission. Surprisingly, this is not fixed until all the way after minor turbulence over halfway through the game. It's strange to note that only Trevor for half the game is unable to drink in his home. Los Santos citizens cannot reliably drive in a quarter of the city due to a bug with the distance scaling that results in the removal of all the road signs. Using Code Walker, we can see that this bug applies to East Vinewood, Harwick, Alta, Mirror Park, Marietta Heights, and part of La Mesa. St. Fiacre Hospital is named after the Irish priest St. Fiacre, who was the patron saint of those suffering from venereal or sexually transmitted infections in the 7th century. In other words, yes, this hospital is meant to be one big sexual innuendo. This joke becomes more apparent when you see that the hospital's logo is meant to be a man with his hands up, but it more looks like a close-up of female genitalia. There is a mysterious vehicle simply called EOD that was cut from GTA 5. Looking in the game's files, the only evidence that confirms the existence of this beta vehicle is an unused description from the police scanner.
Driving a black EOD.
In GTA Online, if you customize the E-Strident LS Customs to change the mirrors to the Sport option, you'll notice that it only changes the driver's side mirror, leaving the passenger's side mirror as the previous Street option. Rockstar, please fix. The Weenie Dynasty has a lot of references to India. For example, you can apply the Oh Yeah taxi livery, which references the very popular taxi cabs that drive around India. Additionally, you can also apply the Horn OK Please livery, which is plastered on Indian buses and trucks to alert drivers they need to honk when they want to merge. This Italian restaurant in La Puerta has a random event involving 2 drunk people, with one of them needing to be taken home.
Can you give me a ride?
You can of course do the random event and take the drunk guy home, but it's more interesting if you don't. If you instead don't approach them and let the random event fail, you can follow the drunk guy as he tries to drive himself home. He ends up crashing a few times before driving into the water. So that's it for this episode. If you think you know of anything that would be of interest to this series, feel free to add it to my Discord. Also, much of the information for this episode came from GTA.wiki. Make sure to avoid the fandom website version as it is no longer being updated. If you want reliable GTA information, GTA.wiki is the place to go. Thank you for watching, I hope you're all doing well.